Consider supporting Sonicguru Productions on Patreon for just $1 a month. Link below in the description. Hello, welcome. I'm Sonicguru. Welcome to another installment, a late overdue, very long delayed, recut, extended, trimmed down edition of Item Box. I'm trying to reboot the whole thing again, so why not? Let's try this again, shall we? For the next half hour to 45 minutes, we'll be talking about Sonic and Sega news and and other things unrelated. That's my intro, probably the entire thing. What do you think?
Well, put it this way. If any of you are asking what's happened to us since the last time we did one of these, look back on 2020 and you'll figure out what.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I got a second child, so all my free time is in nanoseconds.
Exactly. So there you go, folks. There's the truth.
So, anyway, how you been?
I've been all right. I mean, keeping my sanity as best I can in relatively good shape. Yeah. well, we'll get to sanity in a minute with one of the things we're going to talk about.
Yeah, you should see a video back in, I think it's July of Sir Anthony Hopkins. I got to show you it later. It is like, yeah, that was Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah,
and I think that's scarier than Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, dear.
Like I said, I got a second son now. That was back in 24th of July. Yeah, I'm not getting enough sleep. Not enough sleep.
Yeah.
I am on an IV drip of caffeine, so that's going well.
Yeah.
I lie. Other than that, it's just I'm a technically essential worker and all that, so I'm going to work nearly every day, bringing in money, but at the same time trying to be a father and trying to get this channel, trying to keep it going. So that's pretty much what's been happening for the past, I guess, four or 5 months now since the last episode.
Yeah, well, if it was longer than that, it feels longer than that, although, you lose track of time.
It probably is as long, but there was going to be, we'll go back to this in a second. There was going to be another episode that was going to be released, but we didn't do it because the subject we're going to talk about was in there, and things happened directly after we recorded it. Right after we recorded it.
Exactly.
So, also, I'm going to take this from side scrollers because I like discussing and knowing like what game you've been playing lately. Not side scrollers, co-optional podcast. I'm nicking up everyone's shtick.
Let's be fair. We're always on the curtails of everybody else's success. All we can do is just do it in our own way. That's the way I look at it.
Some side scrollers, they're doing co-optional podcast, CU podcast.
Exactly.
I can keep going.
Yeah.
It is Item Box though.
Yeah.
Different name.
Yeah. At least we own that. That's our thing.
Yeah. So, what game have you been playing lately?
Well, really two, surprisingly. I mean, one of them was the DLC for Doom Eternal, the Ancient God Part 1s, which is, put it this way, the way the regular game ends, it's pretty much basically throwing everything at you, and the way the Ancient Gods begins is basically, okay, we're doing it all over again. It's basically no hold bars, you got to be on your A game to get through these 3 levels, these 3 very long, very intense levels.
Well, I guess get your money's worth then, don't you?
Well, it's part 1, so God knows, and part 2.
Oh,
yeah, like I said, and particularly the way how this game ends, particularly for this cliffhanger, there is a lot of things yet to be answered and probably dreading at the same time.
I just want to know how the hell Doom Guy got a penthouse. I'm pretty sure that's answered in the game.
He's basically Grey Skull in outer space.
Oh, magic. Okay.
Well, this is for Dan's sake. If you actually play the game, there's a bunch of notes telling you where everything is and whatever. It's basically, here's the backstory without us actually showing you it.
All right. And what's the second game?
The second, has been, what else? Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time.
We'll get to come round back to that, so hold on. Hold on to your second pony. It's going to be a wild ride. I've been playing AVG and Event 1 and 2 Deluxe. Thank you, Screenwave, for the free copy. It's bloody difficult. It is so fucking difficult. Mind you, I played on normal mode, which basically takes out a lot of all the death blocks, save for a few, because the game hates you. It's fun. It's like the difficulty is the point where I will get frustrated, but not to a point where I'm just going to rage quit.
Yeah, I did see Dan actually did a stream of it very briefly, which two things. One, I asked him, this looked like Mega Man turned up to 11. Like, if you imagine how Mega Man is put together, a platformer reacts to every incoming projectile thing, whatever, it's that all at once. And there is one moment which particularly made you laugh.
Yeah, it was the right in the shark in lava with lasers and everything explodes around you. I could not stop laughing for a good while.
That was
And
just like,
again, as always, my nose is itching. It's a curse. Every time I record, my nose itches.
mm,
I think it's the vibrations of me talking that affect my nostril hairs, and it goes.
mm.
Well, that's what I've been playing. Finished both games. Well, anyway, what we talked about earlier is we did an episode. We were talking about Crash Bandicoot 4 before it was confirmed.
Yes,
We had there was a jigsaw puzzle being sent that featured one of the maths in the game.
yes.
Then there was also a leaked image of the cover art or the poster with Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time. We were very skeptical about that.
Yeah. The reason why this is because this was all on 4chan, which, if any of you know, if you are new to the internet, it is basically, to use a better phrase, a hive of villain scummy you will ever meet. You know,
Pretty
it
much.
is literally anything and everything.
And that's being nice.
That is being nice. And the weird thing is, as we say, we were talking about this as being real, and we're going back and forth. Like, it seems too
Yeah,
presented to be
one thing, it's
not
like
real.
the mask thing was one thing. Like it's always been the past three games from Activision in regards to classic PlayStation mascots. We there was originally this is the third one. The first one was a purple dragon egg. Then it was the orange furry dice, which was Spyro Reignited, which I was excited for, and then CTR remake, which is the best kart racer in a long time, next to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Because it has, hey, remember all those tracks from Nitro Kart and a few other characters, especially from Nitro Kart and Tag Team Racing and Nitro Kart 2. Yeah, they're all in here, including the random ones like Mega Mix. What the flying hell is that?
Basically, it is the final boss in the Game Boy game, Crash Bandicoot Huge Adventure, or XL in the rest of the world.
XS.
Yeah, XS. Sorry. But they're basically, you know, if you looked at it in the original game, it is basically somebody's very first attempt of photoshopping image things together, and it looked terrible. But the fact they modeled it and made it surprisingly beautiful in its hideousness, that's what amazed me the most.
Yeah, I was just excited to see Pasadena Possum. I don't know why I like the character. You got Von Clutch in there as well, like all the characters. It's insane.
Von Clutch,
but you have to unlock them all in the Grand Prix mode, which they've stopped. I will pay $10 to have all the characters unlocked because I'm not grinding my way through that freaking coin pit stop shit.
Yeah, I mean that was a thing. That was a thing for a bit.
But the other thing that we come back to Crash 4, the other thing that we actually didn't fully convince was the logo. It was flat. It wasn't, embossed in your face.
Yeah,
that last logos were. Like every Crash logo has been the same. It's just been Crash and the subtitle.
Bandicoot, blah blah blah.
Yeah, this one was flat.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, could it be? It doesn't look like I'm a graphic designer growing up. I know what a good logo looks like. This one looked like a fan made logo. I'm not gonna lie.
This was one of the reasons because we did think because of, like you said, you've been doing fan graphic design for lots of things for years. So it looked like
also the fact that Crash and Coco were grinding. It's like Crash and Coco don't grind. That's a Sonic recolor. Really good redraw recolor. There and kind of there. It's like we're hoping there's going to be a new Crash game because Future Tense was a really good level, really hard, long level, but it was well designed.
Yeah.
1 hour after we recorded the damn thing.
An hour, just literally an hour.
And 1 hour, I am not kidding. It was like maybe like 2 o'clock or something. I can't remember what time, but it's like literally an hour later. I was in the middle of editing a damn thing because we talked about the PlayStation 5 showcase as well. I was doing that one. And it's like an hour later. Hey, it's officially announced. Here's a trailer for Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time.
Yeah,
motherfucker.
Yeah, it turned out the images were from the trailer. The only major difference was that they changed the release date. I think originally it was for the 7th of October or the 2nd. forgive me, my mind's all over the place, but remembering
It was much earlier.
yeah.
Then there's like, here's a new gameplay trailers. Here's Tana. Here's the developer. Also Beanox, who works on CTR. They're working on the inverted levels, and also you got to play Dingo Dial. So that's
all at once.
you got 5 playable characters, including Cortex. That's insane. Insane, I should say.
Indeed, we went from insane. We've truly gone insane this time.
And then the news kept coming. So it's like, then I couldn't get any more time to talk about it. It's like, we're going to talk about what releases, game releases. We're going to talk about it when we actually finish it. And like, now we've got this. We'll talk about it now. We're going to talk about it now. Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. It's the hardest Crash Bandicoot game I have ever fucking played in my life.
Yeah, I mean, we would have, like you said, if things had gone well for us, we would have been doing updates over and over again, like other people.
This would be weekly. Right now, it's when it comes. It's the hardest damn Crash Bandicoot game I have ever played in my life.
Yeah, like you said, we would have been on this like every other like popular YouTuber, aka Canadian guy, and Cadicarus, who I would guess most people just think, oh, they're the biggest people to talk about Crash Bandicoot all the time. So
they get gifts.
I know they get gifts. They're the lucky bastards of them too.
I'm wondering how the hell Nintendo gave them the Lego set, but whatever. I always thought it was the Sony kid.
Yeah.
That aside.
Yeah. Well, no, we're not bitter.
Mostly.
Yeah.
So, I've played every Crash game, I think, except what was it? Boom Bang. I haven't played Boom Bang, but I'm not missing out on anything.
Okay, there we go.
I've seen gameplay footage, and all I'll say is, the fuck.
Yeah, I got it for Christmas, played it a bit, and went like, the fuck, and I took it back.
Yeah, thank you, Dimps. I mean, you got the Street Fighter, but fuck.
Yeah,
I've played every Crash game. Like, Twin Sanity is probably the second hardest game. The first hardest was Crash at Titans, especially the latter half of the game.
Yeah, latter half does throw a lot at you.
Yeah, but even then, it's like,
yeah.
This just game is like you got 3 levels in, and all of a sudden it throws shit at you.
Oh yeah, it does. Just before we get into the full rage-inducingness of the game, just quickly back onto the 4chan thing. Like you said, the fact that it's turned out to be real, the 2 things in my mind was one, the fact that this was already real, and it's one of the few times 4chan actually got something right with its one of its release, because they do this all the time.
And last time we talked about 4chan was in regards to a Sonic Heroes remake.
Exactly, yeah. And second, I don't know whether to be afraid of that, because what's the next crazy thing they say and it becomes true? I probably don't want to be in the same area as
think back to when Summer Sonic 2009. I talked about, hey, what if Sega did a downloadable Sonic title where Metal Sonic is the boss fight in every alternative zone? 1 year later.
Yeah. Oh dear. So
there was another thing we were talking, and also the fact that when we're talking about Sonic Boom on the Boomcast, like, it would be funny if someone did this and that. Season 2. I swear they nicked our fucking ideas.
Well, I did say it wouldn't be great if they did robotic versions of the other characters. We had Metal Sonic, so they had the Metal Tails, Amy, Knuckles, whatever. They kind of, they found that there's a different way. Obviously, they did robot versions of them, but not the way I initially thought.
Android or cyber versions.
Yeah, basically. But, part of the fun is at least, okay, if you're going to take that idea, do it your own way. That's part of the fun of it, is to see if it's any good or not.
I look at the joke now, he's affecting canon. It flies past you. Like, what?
Well, didn't you say you saw the joke and you didn't get it initially? Wasn't that the thing?
No, it's the most on the nose smart joke of the entire franchise. Because you don't get it until someone has to explain it to you, and when you hear it now, you can't help but laugh.
Yeah, well, I was already laughing all the way through that show, so the fact that we're just doing another fourth wall joke is like, why not? Let's just carry on let's keep on rocking the boat.
Getting back to Crash 4. Okay, I'm going to prefix this, okay? Crash Bandicoot 4 is a really good game. The fact that it exists is a fucking miracle.
Yeah.
This is I guess they would call this in Japan, New Crash Bandicoot 4.
Yeah, because they're the one people who actually numbered, Rafa Cortex and Twin Sanity as 4 and 5. And I'm not sure if they class Titans and Mighty Mutant as like
No, they
6 or 7.
didn't. I was wrong on that last time. Those are fan made, really good fan made
Oh,
versions, calling
see what
them
I mean? See, this is what
six
we're
and
talking
seven.
about, folks. This is why we were hesitant at first, because sometimes this shit ends up being that good.
Yeah. It is a good game. It is a miracle that we even have this game. They did everything that they can do and should do for this game.
Mm.
It plays well, it looks great, it sounds great.
Yeah.
I look at right now the story, the cutscenes are fun to watch.
Mm.
The characters act and sound the way they should. Well, with the voice actors, we'll get to that again. Yeah. And it's like, hey, no MTX, no microtransactions. You can earn every single character skin in this game. The only other prefix for that one, only little kind of, I guess, little string hanging to that one is sign up to the Activision mailing list and we'll give you these free skins. It's like,
Yeah, I mean,
at least I'm not paying for shit,
when
but
I
at the
got the
same time.
game, yeah, when I got the game, it immediately said you can have these, futuristic, basically Crash and Coco cyborgs type costumes already, and that was like immediately when I got the game, so it was in there already.
Yeah.
But as you said, I mean, the thing with Crash 4 is, as you said, it's a big thing to call this number 4, it being like, we are moving forward with the series, we are continuing where Naughty Dog left off, and to call it Crash 4 is a big, hefty deal. And as you said, they've done.
It also actually benefits to those new to the franchise. It's like,
Exactly,
what's this?
yeah.
It looks fun. Let's play Insane Trilogy. And there's CTI, it's a kart racer. There's Crash 4. Okay, let's continue the franchise. To them, it's a new franchise. To us, it's basically something we've been waiting for practically 15 years.
To some people, yeah. Like I said, I mean,
up to maybe 20 years because we don't count Rafa Cortex anymore. And that's the other thing about it. It's about time. It's Crash 4. It continues that.
yeah,
And people point out, say, okay,
what
what happens here then? Oh, Rafa Cortex is an alternate timeline because the Crash 3 has 2 endings.
Mm.
So this is the official, like, it's 20 years later. They've grown up 20 years.
Yeah,
still trying to escape.
I did read initially, I think one of the press release did say the joke was in Crash's timeline, it's still 98, but Coco's got an iPad anyway, so maybe that was just a joke anyway.
What the same way Sonic ages, but not ages in Sonic Generations.
Yeah, whatever, whatever PR stuff. But yeah, like I was just trying to say, the thing about this game, like I said, it's a big deal to call this, is the fact it was developed by Toys for Bob, who did the Spyro Reunited trilogy, and initially we did think it was going to be Vicarious Visions. We were expecting them to do that, which apparently they did, I think, beta testing for at least for the game. And
yeah,
like I said, it is a tall order, and you do worry, like, can these handle it? Because they don't have to do Spyro right, but could they do Crash right?
Not to mention, he also developed Skylanders Imaginators, which actually does have Crash and Cortex.
Yeah, exactly.
So were they going to import that and beef up the models? Like, no, this is what it is.
No, it's totally their thing. It's totally their thing. But like I said, the thing is, these guys get it. As you said, they totally get what Crash needs to be for today, basically. They totally understand what they can do in the mechanics, what needs to be improved, what they can build upon. And like I said, everything, as I've been replaying this game over and over again, I'm really starting to see what Toys for Bob's thought process was to make the game the way it is. Like, why this decision, why this turn with characters, why particularly this art style and stuff, which, particularly if you're one of the people who were like, I don't like the art style, remake it, it's like you're probably on the same level of those folks saying, well, I don't like what you did with Last of Us Part 2, just remake the whole thing again. So it's like, come on, guys, pick your battles here.
Well, the people who actually want to remake the entirety of the sequel Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, there are people out there who just think it's a finger snap, literally a Infinity Glove finger snap that things can be changed. Yeah. But
just point towards Sonic the Hedgehog movie and what that took.
Yes, there you go. But that's it. We won't go into that. We talked enough about that stuff.
Yeah, Crash 4, it is brutally hard.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie.
It's like, it's taken me like I haven't touched the game in 2 freaking weeks. I can't bring myself to play it for so long because I know I'm going to get frustrated, and I don't like being angry when playing a game. I like having fun or being bewildered.
Yeah,
especially when I play a bad game intentionally.
the thing about is for us, the thing for us when we first play this game for both of us is like it immediately just feels like you're back in the groove. Like literally, yeah, I know what I'm doing, run, jump, spin, jump platforms and time sequences, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, I know this stuff. It's easy, great, good. And I'm introducing the mechanics, bring on the mass and all that stuff. But as soon as you get into those later levels, immediately when you get to the second dimension, well, the first one actually, it immediately is starting to throw lots of new stuff at you. And having played the game over and over again, I've actually finished it. I've
I
felt the
have.
one problem I have with the game is he hasn't. I mean, like I said, but for me, the thing with the game is my problem was I played it thinking I could just do the entire like, oh, I'll break all the boxes and find the gems easy because it's like I know how to play these games. I've been playing Crash for many years. I played the original and the remasters. I know how
Yeah,
to do it, but
that's the same to me, and I bring to many other people as well. Is it's Crash 4. What the hell can be different? Because we got the remaster that set the groundwork to how Crash can work on a next generation console.
yeah, and like I said, the game
But
just
it isn't,
no, it's
and
not.
that's it's a good thing and a bad thing. Bad
Yeah,
thing is, like we said, it's not Crash 1 through 3. It isn't.
no.
It will never be Crash 1 through 3 because despite being controlled well, it's a slightly tweaked because instead of actually 8 directions, it's 360 directions.
Hmm.
The jumping feels a bit more loose or a bit heavy at times.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's kind of the jump, two little things that just kind of irritate me. One helpful, the other one just basically confuses me. Firstly, is the shadow. When you jump, you get a little
Yeah,
like
you
light
have a little
circle below
circle
you.
indicating where
Yeah,
you can.
yeah, well, that's where you land. It's like, okay, they're helpful, but I'd rather not have the indicated circle. I'm pretty sure you can
I
set off. I'm pretty sure you can set up in
You
classic mode.
can turn it off. It is turn offable. I mean, both that and even the two modern retro mode, which we'll get into in a minute. But like I said, I mean, I found that surprisingly helpful in a lot of scenarios. I did
Yeah,
find
and
that.
end up looking at the floor more than
I know. I mean, the
my
irony is
character.
spending more time looking at
Yeah,
Crash circle, literal
yeah.
shadows.
It's just I'd rather have my character shadow rather than a circle shadow.
Yeah.
It's like they revolutionized the character shadow. It's not a dot. It's the character shadow. They
Hmm.
animated that. They got rid
Yeah.
of it. So basically, that's a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
They replaced it with something that's useful, but it's just annoying. The second one, I don't know. It annoys me every time I see it. It's the fact Aku Aku circles around you.
Yeah.
That irritates me because I like it when it's hanging next to me.
I know. I mean,
I
the
know for a
main.
fact that it's around around you. It's kind of bluish purple. When you get the second one, it's now golden orange. It's
Yeah.
like fair enough. That makes an indicator, but I don't like the fact it circles
I
around me.
know.
I'd
I
rather
mean,
have it hang behind me.
yeah, I know. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, hell, remember when in Titans, you only the only time you use Aku Aku is as a shield, a skateboard, or even using it against the enemies. That's the only times it did it. So that is entirely new. But also the fact is, I understand why they did that because you have these four new masks, and let's be fair, you kind of one of them because every time when Crash uses them, they're all on his body anyway. So it's like I'd rather have the circle thing as an indicator as a shield. That makes more sense. It's more visually purpose has more of a purpose. But as you said, I do nostalgically, yeah, I like it when he was just floating around with you and stuff. I mean, I'll admit that.
Yeah, I get it's a pet peeve.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
mean,
but onto the mask still, that's like one of the best new features of the game. That's its unique selling point.
mm,
I have already got three of the masks. I haven't used one of them. No, wait, I have.
yeah.
You
I mean,
got
I've played all of them. I mean,
Lani Loli, which
faces objects in and out.
yeah, phases objects. Can't remember the second one. He gives you the
Oh
death
no,
spin.
it's the one that can spin around. You can basically do the tornado sprint
Yeah,
infinitely.
you can reflect.
Projectiles as
Uh,
well. Oh,
yeah, the mask is now the death spin. It's not an upgrade. Well, speaking of
yeah,
which, you have the super body slam and you have the double jump straight away. That's
yeah.
a plus.
You basically have the basic moves from the get go: run, jump, spin, double jump, and slide. And they actually have a thing now where you actually can slide it. When you slide, you can spin, and you'll actually do like a sort of ground sprint instead of like the traditional. Like you'll just sort of spin his entire body upwards a little bit if you show a video of that.
Never done that.
Yeah, well, there you go. Also, one
That explains why I died several times on the engine boss fight.
actually, one thing I found really fascinating. This is a real change. Is the fact that I think particularly the original games tried to do this is in when you're next to say TNT crates and say there's an echo box but there's a TNT right on top of it, you think, should I risk trying to get that box? Because it's like 50-50% you're either going to get it or you'll explode. And there's
I
no way.
explode.
Yeah. In this game, they actually have a thing. If you stand perfectly still, you actually his spin will be he'll have a lower spinner. So you can actually now break boxes on top of volatile ones now. You actually are able to do that.
Well, that explains the first few deaths.
and
It's like, see what I mean? It's little, it's little
yeah,
nuances here and there that change the overall experience to a point where it's a completely new game. I
yeah.
mean, yes, it's a new game, but I mean, terms of this,
It
it's a
really
Crash
is
Bandicoot game. It's like it should be
using the original
familiar.
game. It really
Yeah,
is using what has been done the first three games as the building blocks, and really is like, okay, how do we both improve upon this or refine this aspect and add new mechanics to this game? That is the point of this even being a thing. And I have some cripples with the game itself. One is more, first of all, the difficulty does drive me. I mean, it's proper ripping your hair out moments in that game. Trust me. There are some moments in this game. In fact, I was playing it last night and I was doing Cortex's side mission to the last level, and Christ Almighty, there is some bullshit in there.
like there's the other mass that slows down time, which is for some more unique, guess, elements of the levels, like timed crates. Not
You can jump on
basically,
Nitro.
remember those ones that actually kind of flick from question mark to aku aku to blank.
Mm.
It goes really fast until you actually lose and it becomes a metal crate. It's kind of like that, except they only appear for a brief time when you hit a
Yeah,
question
you
mark
have time
box.
boxes. If you hit an exclamation mark, they will be there. They have a little circle indicator to tell you how long they'll be there for a set. And that's just it. They're probably the replacement for will be like in Crash 3, where they have the quick, rotating ones. If you don't get them, they turn into a metal crate.
Yeah, that annoyed me the first time I saw that.
Actually, I'll tell you
I haven't
what,
the
really
fourth mask I haven't got yet. Sorry.
spice spitting. Those are the ones that really, because trust me, there are some levels where they'll purposely put them in a point where you have to do a jump succession of things. That's like if you don't time it, you're going to get burnt.
Oh, great, more hair to pull out.
Exactly. Hey.
And one, I don't know what the fourth mask is, but we'll save the spoilers for that. One thing I really like was the new, the game design, because it's not just go to the end. Well, basically that is go to the end.
It's still traditional point A to B, break boxes and
Yeah.
go through enemies.
But there's no collectible. There's no main collectible, but there's still gems. But instead of just get every box to get a gem, there still is that.
Mm.
But there's 5 more, 6 gems in total for every level.
Mm.
Get all the boxes. Get 30, 60, and 80% of Wumpa Fruit. So they're no longer a throwaway collectible for lives because lives are done away in this game.
Yeah, there is a mode in this game. You have don't die, folks. Sorry about that. But you have modern and retro mode. Retro mode, you have the life system in, so you can go through the levels, collect 100 Wumpa Fruit and extra life, or find life crates. In modern mode, it gets rid of it, and it's pretty pointless because really, after playing the game, really at a point, it's a pointless thing.
Yeah, so Wumpa Fruit is now a key collectible, so you can't miss any.
Mm.
So I can't piss off my wife anymore with that.
Yeah, I don't actually. One thing I can say, I don't think you can actually spin them away because that was one thing you could do.
No, you can't.
And that's the weird. That's a major change. Actually,
no, because they're now a key collectible, so you have to get them all.
Mm.
There's a hidden gem in every level, and they are most of them are fucking well hidden.
Some of them are
in the very first level. One of them is hidden inside a hut you have to duck under.
Yeah, you have a split second to see that, but it gives you an indicator when you head to you go for the rail grind sequence and you head into I guess it's like the native villages area, and you see even closed doors. So that gives you a clue of, oh, this is already happening.
Yeah, a lot of visual notes you have to keep an eye out for, so you can't just be blown away by the visuals, which is fucking good visuals.
Yeah, I mean,
and there's also the death gem. This is why I like the modern version more than the retro version, because you will die a lot in this game, and I mean a lot in this game. The death gem only gives you 3 tries. You die more than that, you can't get that gem.
No.
But at that point, you'll probably replay it again to get the other gems that you miss, and you'll probably be able to do the level pretty much fine.
Yeah, if you're coming into this, anybody who's new watching this, and you're starting playing Crash 4, just play the levels as they are. Just get through them, see what they do, see the patterns and routines. Do not try and get the fucking crates, because I did that myself, and it, like I said, hair ripping madness ensues.
Even myself, I got every single box on this one part. I got to the next part because you play Dingo Dal and Tana. They're alternate paths that affect the main line of the levels.
They
So
kind of act as like alternative routes. So like they have like their own sections that happen in the same level, and then at some point they'll intervene. They'll help you because you'll have a sequence where Crash will sway, and there'll be something happens, like a door opens or a ship explodes and whatever, and then you see from their point of view what led up to that moment. And
yeah,
you replay those levels again, but the crates are mixed up a bit intentionally to make it harder.
yeah, I don't like that. I just want to play. I want to play as Dingle Dazzle Tana. I want to play as Dingle Dazzle Tana for the entire level, not just
I mean,
one
the
half.
annoying thing is there's only as both as Tana, Dingadao, and Cortex, they've only got one full levels dedicated to them completely. There's like
Oh, I got something to look forward to then.
yeah, so that's slightly annoying. I mean, I was kind of
Yeah,
hoping. I will say, out of the three, I thought Dingadao for me was the most fun, partly because his vacuum mechanic, obviously, you can suck up a TNT literal barrel and you can actually shoot at enemies and open things up. And there are puzzles involving you where you can actually suck up regular TNT boxes and you can throw them at certain things. So I really enjoyed that. It was kind of because I remember playing the platforming levels, and this was where I was getting really annoyed because I kept getting my ass handed to me. But playing that, it felt like a bit of a power fantasy.
yeah. Dingle Dazzle's more puzzle. Say the truth. Or,
It is more of a puzzle thing.
Tana is more exploratory because you really need to use the hook shot she has.
It's more like getting
I have not played Cortex. I just know he's more shooter, more puzzle platform shooter.
Yeah, I mean, the best one. Actually, one thing I'll bring this up before we diverge because we'll always do this. One thing I will say about Crash 4 is that, as we said, the game is effectively saying this is continuing where the original game's left off, and it's forging its own path, blah blah blah. But as I've been playing the whole game, I cannot help but so much of it feels like it's either been inspired or taken from all the subsequent other sequels and spin-offs. Like, I would say the structure, like how the game's narrative is and some of the location and even the art style, I would say the majority of the art style for the environment reminds me way more of Titans than the original games ever did. They're much more stylistic, much more curvy, and they're purposely meant to look more rounded and a bit more bizarre looking.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I gotta point out as well on the very first level. Do you ever hit the TV?
Yes, I did.
You hit it 4 times. You go through
You
all
can
the
hit the
logos.
TV and you hit the radio, and it actually plays each subsequent game's main theme, basically.
Yeah, and on the fridge, it spells out the word crunch.
Yes, it does.
So it's aware of its history.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, there are loads of winks and nods to both the main games and the subsequent other sequels and spin-offs. I will admit I was kind of hoping more overt references, like there is because the game is going for different dimensions. It would have been fun if they did like a quick joke of jumping from different dimensions, and you get like a snapshot of the subsequent other games. Like they literally patch through the time.
Like they one very brief moment in Turtles Forever.
Yeah, exactly. Like the whole snapshot of just here are all the other incarnations and all that stuff. That would have been, I would have liked that for me as a fan, but they're in the game and they're more subtle than I imagined, but they are in the game and it's nice.
Yeah. We've got to stop before we actually get carried away with Crash 4 because we like the game. It's a fantastic game. We're Crash Bandicoot fans through and through.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing when I said with Crash 4 is in, like I said, after playing it multiple times, like I said, it totally makes sense. All the elements, all the ideas behind the game make sense to me. The only two things I have a problem with is one is the difficulty curve in some of the levels, and trust me, there are some that are pure. You have to be.
It's not a difficulty. It's not a difficulty climb. It's not a difficulty curve. It's difficulty hill.
Well, particularly it's like how the character controls. Like really, you have to know how these characters control, and like for Crash's like jumping distance. I was talking to Den about this, where it felt like it was shorter than it was, but then I realized that you can actually go longer with the regular jump before you use the double jump as like basically as a precautionary. Like you normally use the double jump to make sure you
treat it like the hover in Spyro 2 and 3.
Yeah. So that was my main say, was not knowing how the controls were within this game's environment, and I've gotten used to it. The other thing I have a bit of an issue is it's more the tone. Like the story itself, the majority of the plot is very much Crash and Coco go through this dimension hopping adventure featuring, we face off old villains, and of course Entropy this is not a spoiler, he is the main antagonist for this game. And to be fair, I think that's really cool because he's been around for the series for a long time and they've never really done anything with him as like a threatening villain, which they do here. But the tone of the game feels a little like there is a sense of it's not quite the Twinsanity route, which we're making fun of everything. Like we are aware this is all silly and ridiculous and it's a video game and stuff. It's sort of on that end, it's not quite to that level, but it's not quite I would say, the seriousness of the Naughty Dog games, which, I mean, for what it is, yes, Cortex is a goofy guy. He's literally a short man with a big head and a big end on his head. I mean, yes, he's ridiculous, but the way he was portrayed, particularly in even 1 and 2, particularly, he was meant to be kind of a threatening presence. And I think a lot of that's down to Clancy Brown, really, down to how he voiced that character.
Yeah.
But this game is a little, like I said, there's a tonal thing I'm not sure about. It's on the one hand, it's cartoony enough that there are some good jokes in this. There's particularly one moment. There's a great reaction from Crash after you defeat Cortex's first boss fight, and that is proper. That made me chuckle. And then on the other hand, there's some things with the flashback tapes. This is something we should mention. They're basically like bonus. They're like the
flashback tapes replace the death routes. I mean, obviously, don't go for the whole level. Don't die. Get a gem.
No, you can get
flashback tapes. But you got 3 chances to do that. Whereas the flashback tapes, you got to go for the whole level and collect it without dying. Because if you die before that, gone.
You don't get it.
I mean, you can see it, you can admire it, but you can't get it.
Yeah. The context behind these is supposedly they're all taking place before the events of the first game. So this is meant to be, in quotes, what were Crash and Coco doing before the first game happened. As in, these were the training levels and you get commentary from Cortex telling him about, apparently he gave him his shorts. Apparently that's why Crash has his shorts, because they were Cortex originally. He also names him. Yeah, that's the thing.
Mystery solved.
Yeah, there's also a bit where Cortex names him. He actually gives him a full name, but he calls him Crash for sure. And there's even a bit where you hear him interviewing Engine for the first time, and he asks him, "So was that missile part of an experiment gone wrong?" And he goes, "What missile? Oh, never mind."
Oh, he's doing the I can't remember his name, from Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, the hump. It's the hump.
Yeah,
hump. Yeah, what? But it was there. Never mind. That whole joke.
Yeah, that there you go. That's the.
And
reference.
Again, there are some funny jokes. There are some great. A lot of the game's humor comes from like voiceover moments. Again, taken from Titans, where they often characters will be blurting over a speakerphone or whatever. But again, there is a bit like it is kind of, like you said, it demystifies and kind of explains an aspect of the game, but at a sort of joking expense. So I'm a little bit torn up about that myself. Again, as a fan, this is what fans do. I mean, everybody else will just go, haha, funny joke. But
yeah. But yeah, if you still haven't on the fence of getting this or saying I haven't finished Crash 2 or 3 yet, fucking do. They're not that long. It'll be 3 hours tops.
Yeah, if you play it regularly, you can get it through. If you take your time and understand how the characters control, you will have a fun time. If you try and do perfect runs, create things, you're gonna have a hard time because you need to play these levels more than once to figure out all the quirks.
Yeah, this game, like we said, you do not jump into it thinking you know what you're gonna do. It's like an example for me is basically when I watch people play Sonic Adventure or such. I know how to play the game. I've played it multiple times. I know the ins and outs. I know how to control it. I know how not to fuck the game up. I see someone play it and they fuck up numerous times in this one area, and I get the feeling of, give me the freaking controller. I'll show how you do it.
This is the thing. If you know a game inside out,
that's the attitude I have with Crash 4. I should be able to jump in and play it, but it's a new game. I'll think back to when I first played Sonic 06, or just recently Sonic Forces. We'll get to this in a bit. Sonic Forces, I died several times. I still got my raw gameplay footage, especially Classic Sonic and Avatar. I died several times. I don't know what the hell I'm doing because it's a brand new game. Now I can go through every level and find every nuance. So that's the attitude you have to take with Crash 4. It's not just a continuation. It is a brand new game.
Yeah. I mean, the only worry I have now is with it being, it's done very well, and obviously people want more of this. My worry is this is going to turn into COD, whereas we're going to get a new game every year, and how long until this is going to be? This is the same game with new bells and whistles, and they don't do anything new.
Well, it depends on getting more DLC for it, like with Nitro Kart.
Yeah, I mean,
fucking Nitro Fueled. Christ.
Yeah. And again, one last thing. When they announced that there was no microtransaction or whatever, they were really hard about that with the whole costume things. The cynical side of me felt like, having played the game and needing to collect the gems to unlock a lot of these costumes, that's one of the incentives. There's a bit of me feels like, I bet there would have been an option to say, this level's too hard. All right, just pay for the costume. I don't think that was ever a thing.
Yeah,
It's a cynical bit.
I
This,
I think Activision could still do the easy win, like the easy fatalities for Mortal Kombat.
yeah, but like I said, that's the cynical side of me. That's that side. I like to think Toys for Bob wouldn't want that in the first place, but I don't know. That was my main concern really when they really went hard with that aspect.
But other than that, get the game.
Yeah, exactly. Go get it. In fact, I
Yeah.
managed to get the game special edition, which comes with these papercraft things. And
Yeah, and that's in the UK. In the US, you get this little thing.
yeah, a lot of time.
You get a minute timer.
Yeah.
Which
Although
the case is pretty cool.
yeah, I mean this is yeah, like I said, I managed to do Cortex. I mean, to be fair, I'm just using double-sided sticky tape, and you can see there's not quite there, but use an experiment. I'm using yes.
Oh.
So I'm using Cortex for my experiment.
You got the mask all around the edges.
Nice. That's
I
nice.
got the logo right at the bottom.
Yeah, right. The embossed. That's nice. So yeah.
It's all rubber as well.
Oh, okay.
So it is really well detailed. So basically, you want to get a 1 minute egg. There you go.
Yeah. But like I said,
all you just basically you got 1 minute to actually go with a pitch your idea. Go.
There you go. There you go. And this, if it was me, and this folk will be watching you if you don't do it right.
Yeah, that's one thing. Just have a cubed Cortex staring from the corner.
Exactly.
I'm going to stare at a Mimikyu right now. It's staring at me right in the corner right now. I got my wife a Mimikyu. She adores it, but it's staring right at me.
At you.
It is adorable. I like Mimikyu as well, but it's creepy to look at.
Yeah, just.
But yeah, get Crash 4. Fantastic. Moving on before I get distracted. It is a couple of days ago. It was Sonic Forces' third year anniversary.
There we go. We get the grammar right.
That's how long the game. People still talk about it, but that's how long the game is. Same with Sonic Mania. That was back in August, though.
Yeah, that came out earlier. Obviously, they both came out the same year, just months apart.
We did a quick chat about this yesterday, and people still use it as an example as a bad Sonic game.
Well, people use it as this is why Sonic's now shit again, because we haven't heard that for the 700 billion time, have we?
Yeah. I put a blanket statement on this is, did Sonic Forces ruin Sonic in general? Like, did it divide the franchise? Did it make it the butt of jokes? No, it didn't. Don't get me wrong, it's not a great game. It's not. I mean, the downside is it had to get released the same year as Sonic Mania.
Yeah, I mean, let's be fair. That's
within the same 6-month period.
I know. I mean, I would say that's the biggest fault. Let's be fair. When Mania was announced, everybody was shitting their bricks. I mean, this was the game they were wanting.
I was skeptical. It's like, was this the only 25th anniversary thing you're going to announce? Was this the next main game? And then we got announced, no, we've got Project 2017 coming out as well.
Yeah.
And then they showed Classic Sonic, and I'm like, fuck.
All right, now we know what this game's going to be like. But effectively, yeah, Mania was the mainstay, and that was going to be the main game, and this was always going to be the second fiddle to that massive hype of Mania.
Yeah. I'm thinking of reevaluating my review and certain aspects of it. But honestly, I enjoy this game more than Colors, which is highly regarded as one of the best Sonic games.
Yeah, well, we talk about people bitching about Sonic. I mean, Colors is the one where everybody says this is the good one, the good 3D one. Everybody talks about.
I'd say it's the most safe one it's been. Like, putting into context for me, Sonic Colors took me a week to finish. My game playtime was 3.5 hours. Wasn't that long. I enjoyed some aspects of it, but I just wasn't having fun. I couldn't force myself to play in more than like a half an hour to an hour at a time.
Yeah, I was the same. I was the same when I first played it.
Sonic Forces, I did on the same day I bought it. I went all the way through.
Yeah.
She complained about the fact I finished the game in one sitting. It's like, that's what you do. Yeah,
well, it's not the first time you've done this. So was there another game you managed to finish in one sitting before?
Generations.
All right, there you go. So this is the second.
Rush took me 3 days.
Okay.
Mania took me a week to do as well, but because I wanted to let's play it.
Yeah. So technically, you've done 2 anniversary games, and you managed to do them in one sitting in the same day.
It took me 2 weeks to do Sonic 06, but again, now it's a long game.
Yeah, well, that's long for many different reasons, mostly bad.
Well, 50% of it is loading screens.
Exactly. That's the bad part.
There you go. There's the joke. That's what I mean. Sonic 06 is the worst game. Sonic Forces that is a really awkward word to say. Forces.
Sonic forces itself.
Forces
Yes.
is a disappointment. It's like, oh, we're bringing back the generation style of gameplay.
4 years after,
but it's worse.
Basically.
Yeah, but it's worse. So you have to get wisps to actually boost instead of just anything to get boost. Which honestly works better because it allows you to focus more on platform and everything, not just boost for the entire level because you can. I mean, you want boost to win. Generations is boost to win.
More or less, yeah.
More boosting in Sonic Unleashed. And Unleashed had bigger levels.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. The level design was short and only one path to go around. Oh, it forks sometimes, but that was like 3 seconds. And
I mean, there's something like they do have the traditional higher path, middle, and lower path, but that's really down to certain moments.
Yeah, but you go back to Generations and Unleashed, there are multiple paths to take.
I know there's way more. There was way more of that in those two.
Like even the 3DS version of Generations, there's some multiple paths to take, and you really need to take the alternate path just to get the S rank. It's a much more difficult game.
Yeah, I mean, so Forces, here's the deal. I mean, I've seen a lot of people...
The story I can't forgive, though. The story had so much going for it, and it's like, here's Sonic's biggest threat. He got defeated, and it's like, okay, what happened?
He gets out
in 6 months. That's it. It's like, text crawl.
Yeah.
You don't see anyone suffering or anything.
So it's like,
the other heroes didn't do shit. Didn't do shit. No, Shadow, he could accept like he got disappeared because in episode Shadow, he got affected by the Phantom Ruby, so maybe he escaped.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I remember someone thought like the whole every now and again the game shows you like a text scroll, which is basically just lazy man. Here's the sequence we would have animated, but we didn't have time, so here's just a few days later type deal. Which is, come on, guys. And here's something actually. The one thing I'm surprised they didn't do during that segment. They did these big CGI visuals. Why didn't they repurpose them for the game? Why didn't they use them as a montage sequence? I would have fucking done that. If I was an editor for that game, I would have put that in at least to give them something rather than just a few days, a month, blah, blah, blah. It's like, really? Come on, guys.
Yeah, and not to mention, hey, here's Chaos and Shadow the Hedgehog. We've been referencing Chaos has now got a new model. Fantastic. No boss fight.
Yeah, you don't get a boss fight.
The fans had to make a boss fight to mod it into the game.
Yeah.
It's pretty difficult. It's just endurance.
Yeah, but
it really is.
Yeah, I'll get to that. I'll get to fans modding games. We'll get to that in a minute. That's something I want to bring.
And Shadow, he just kicked off in this cutscene. So basically, out of the 4 big names, it's like Metal Sonic and Zavok. And Zavok was a better boss fight.
Better than he was in Lost World.
Lost World is a piece of shit. He was pathetic in Lost World. Both times.
Oh dear.
3 times you count the 3DS version. The 3DS version, he was a piece of piss there as well.
Oh dearie Lord. Yeah, I mean, so here's the thing with Forces. As you said, the big problem with the game is that it has a cool central premise of what if Eggman take over the world and succeeds, and doesn't really last long. They don't do anything that special with it.
They don't do anything with it. It's just like it happened. Yeah. All right. I know people say, "Oh, the Japanese version has a better story." It's like
because it's the same fucking thing. All they've done is change the dialogue.
There are some dialogue changes here and there, or Tails has lost it, or Tails went into hiding. Oh, Sonic was tortured for 6 months, or he's just been imprisoned for 6 months. Like, it doesn't matter. This is the official localized version of the game. I don't care what.
This is something we should mention. This. I mean, one thing we should mention is in the last few months, it's recently announced that the 2 main writers for the last couple of Sonic games are no longer basically not working with Sega anymore. I mean, the last one they did was Team Sonic Racing, and
that was a shit story.
Yeah, which, let's be fair, they didn't have a lot to work with for that thing. It's maybe just a bunch of slides, still images. It's like, come on, guys. I mean,
This could have been a really short. At least the story wasn't really as important. It's just like, hey, I'm putting you all together across time and space in order to race together to actually build a super engine, which I lapped on the final race.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
yeah, good work there, Don
yeah, I
DeLon.
mean, my problem with that game is actually a lot of the small moments, which is the character interaction stuff. Come on, guys, that could have been animated. You could have animated those segments or paced them a lot better. I mean, that's the thing I look at that and go like, there's clearly some fun stuff you could have done in either in-game or CGI cutscenes, which they didn't do for whatever reason. I don't know what they do really. I don't know what the priority is to make cutscenes in their games anymore in terms of in-engine versus CG. I don't know.
In-engine is preferred because they can change aspects.
I know, but it's like particularly they only do it really for either trailers or a certain big moment. Like either I know in Lost World they had the opening and the draining of the world. Those are like the two big sequences in that game.
Yeah, and Colors had the opening and the ending,
Yeah, that's about it really. So
and Unleashed had more. But then and again, Unleashed still has the best graphics.
yeah, I mean, well,
Unleashed still tops out Forces. Forces is a better lighting engine,
mm,
but Unleashed is better.
yeah, I think it's more both the artistic style and just how they put the whole thing together. Really, I think it's down to that really.
You know, to mention character expressions. I don't know why they keep using eyelids for emotion.
Uh,
They have eyebrows. You've seen the eyebrows. Why the hell are you using the eyelids?
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, Sonic Boom managed to get a lot of expression out of those characters. That was the funny one.
Yeah.
So there you go, folks.
But again, it was always your complaints, but I don't really think it's that bad of a game. It's just again, I can sit down and play it anytime and have fun.
I mean, yeah,
I think it's because it's the avatar system as well, which still needs a lot of work for it to be a real avatar system.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot more. Like, the problem with the game is that, again, you could argue, we could sit here and argue for ages that every Sonic game has the potential to be great, and it's at the end of the day, it's down to execution, and that's what you judge it on. And the thing with Visual Forces is like, again, the execution of this felt like standard. It's like, as you said, it's somewhat of a safe. Everything works. By a technical standpoint, everything works. There's nothing glitching. There's no technical messes or hiccups. By far, it's the most
Unless
sound.
you're playing the PC version and you have the Nuva the fuck with you.
Okay. Yeah,
we're talking console here. We're talking
consoles.
We're talking about what real gamers play.
Yeah, so whatever you want.
I'm gonna get a lot of flack for saying that.
Dear,
I don't play PC. I'm always play consoles. Okay.
Yeah, we're probably going to get flack more from the Sonic community first before they come at us. So let's be fair.
I say be your own fan. Like what you fucking like. I'll keep boasting that from the boast. I'll keep boasting that from the freaking rooftops.
Yeah,
like, I don't care what game you like or which game you hate. Good for you.
My problem, like I said, I think my big problem with Forces is like it is the case of it's a game. I was saying this with the Sonic movie. Originally, it was like our biggest worry was whatever that end result was, the worst it could be was in one ear out the other, and you kind of forget about it. And Forces is I haven't really thought about that game for ages. I haven't even touched it for half a year now, if anything, even more. But
that shows the kind of standpoint it had. It's just not bad. It's just disappointing. So basically, it's what you call a fart in the wind. It happened, but you don't think about it. Whereas Sonic 06 hit a lot harder.
I think 06 because it was a more ambitious game, because that really was, looking back at it, it was basically them saying, we want to do Sonic as Final Fantasy. And, well, if you know Final Fantasy, there's a lot of it, for as much as it's beloved and talked about, there is a lot of really dumb things in those games. I mean, like half the narratives are proper, like, use the power of love and sadness to vanquish the enemy of time and space, the anti-god thing, whatever. What the fuck are we talking about?
I think you're talking Final Fantasy VIII.
Well, to be fair, that's a lot of anime. A lot of anime is basically, I mean, hell, look at Yu-Gi-Oh! It starts off with we play cards and monsters come out to literally we're facing literally the devil at the end of the universe type stuff.
Oh, the cards.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's still like, use the power, you must remember the friendship and all that stuff, which again, people argue that in most Sonic games, they're always about teamwork and bloody friendship and again, they've been doing this for ages. It's how they tell it.
Doing that since the beginning, really.
More or less, yeah. And I think what my big issue really with Sonic Forces is that, as you said, people go on it like it's like the new low standard for the series, which we haven't had a new game yet. We're still wondering whether an Adventure remake is nigh or not. We still don't know.
Or the Adventure era remakes, because I wouldn't mind a Sonic Heroes remake.
Yeah, either. I mean, I'm totally up for a Heroes remake. I would love to see that get redone, because I think there's more potential for that game to be remade than as much as Adventure 1 or 2. But I think people look at Forces like this is the standard it's going to be from now on. Like, oh, these are what the games from going forwards are going to be like. And particularly the big one, and we should mention this, is of course the infamous Tails carrying it, Chaos Zero, which, oh, you ruined him, he's regressed and all that stuff. And the way people have bitched about it, like, I get it. I totally get why people bring it up because, yes, you're right. It is somewhat stamping on what has been established before. But really, Sonic games don't have a strong continuity, if we're being honest. Like, a lot of them don't count. Personality-wise, they carry over certain things, but my attitude is like that. I like to think that's not going to be something that will continue for the games onwards. Like, Tails is not going to be that level of patheticness.
Yeah.
No.
Especially,
I mean, you're going to blame anyone, blame the head writer.
look at Amy as well. For 2 games, she had that weird fucking voice. Then
Well,
Boom happened. Then Boom happened, and then that became her voice.
I know. Well, the irony, I remember you thinking it was a different actor. It was the same actress, I think.
Yeah, that threw me.
Yeah, that was weird. That's the thing with you. I mean, Dan didn't even know that, when Jason Griffith, remember when that was a thing, he didn't know the change in Shadow. This guy didn't even notice.
No, because I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, do it sound good? Yeah. Okay, on we go. I'd look at the subtitles half the time.
Yeah, I mean, let's be fair. Is he just Mr. Moody? Yeah, pretty much anybody could play Mr. Moody, if you're being honest. Actors.
Kirk Thornton, you're not really good at it. I'm sorry, but he's not.
Well, isn't he also Orbot as well? Isn't he also playing Orbot?
I think so.
Yeah, so you basically have, Smuggy, I'm a misery lonely guy too. I'm technically stuck with this lard-ass idiot and a dumb robot.
They were wasted in that game. Absolutely wasted.
Yeah, they really didn't do it.
I think that's what happens when you try, like, okay, here are 2 characters. We're going to put them into this and then put them back. They work better in Boom than they do in the modern series.
I think that's like the worst. I will say that's probably the weakest appearance in that game. They don't really get the comedy right for them in that game.
No, just there. It's like, remember us? Yeah, I remember when I laughed at you in one episode of Sonic Boom. But that was a different you.
The alternative version of you. I want that one.
Oh, go get the evil milk.
Yeah, but either way, like you said, as much as we're bitching about Forces, because this is what happens if we just end up bitching about everything. The thing with Forces, like I said, I don't see it as like this alternative flow. By all accounts, you can argue about the game design, how it should have been better, the avatar system. I know you've talked about this for many years, to me at least.
Yeah, 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, and again, you can make the argument, particularly with Sonic Team, they should have done better. And you're right. I remember when we did the Summer of Sonic podcast for the last one, I remember being really enthusiastic about what they were going to do next. And to be fair, I still stand by that they're not bad developers. But honestly, they can slip up, and I'm not going to excuse their dumb shit. Don't get me wrong. They've done some stupid decisions and dumb shit over the years. And like I said, I think with Forces, it's clearly the case of you slipped up, guys. Really, you should have done better. You should do this better. And for many people, as you said, they've done this fan mod of doing a Chaos Zero boss fight in the game, and people have been doing this for years, modding games, and that's great. It's a great way. That's how even Mania got made. It was basically a bunch of fans. We want to make a 2D Sonic game, so we'll try and recreate the code for those original ones and see if we can build around things. And particularly with the 3D games, it's a little harder because you have to work with the existing stuff. So you can't really build brand new things into those games. You have to work on what's already existed. And again, that's what main developers are going to do. They have to build this stuff to make these new games that other people can either themselves build upon, or even modders can add their own tweaks and quirks to them.
Yeah, but for me, I can get to play Blaze the Cat in Sonic Adventure 2.
There you go, folks.
Someone made a model for Adventure 2 style Blaze.
But like I said, I mean, there is a level of I know there was a group of people who tried to make 06. There was trying to do a remaster version of 06 to bring back in some of the elements that were originally in the game. I know the power meter was one of them for Sonic and different abilities.
Yeah, Project 06. I think the Chaos X is still doing a complete conversion of that game.
Yeah. And again, there is somebody online who does a lot of videos of adding new things to previous games, and he's doing a lot of ones, particularly in Forces, Forces were better and physics better and blah, blah, blah. And, I'm not against that, but there is a limit. I think, to be fair, it's there's only so much you can do with a game that is fundamentally, you have to work what you have. There's only so much you can remake or reuse for that game to make it better.
Yeah, but I still enjoy playing it.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I will say this, when I have played the game, as a quick, just, for me, a good Sonic game, or particularly the best way to play a Sonic game is a maximum, maybe like a 30-minute to an hour game. If you just play a few zones of levels and just go through the levels as best you can, that to me is a sign of a fun game. If you try and do, for me, if it's, I remember with Unleashed, like doing that game from beginning to end was hell. I still maintain that was the most annoyed I've ever been in a video game ever. And maybe one day I'll regale that story in a fun fashion if we get a chance. But like I said, that game was hell to play from beginning to end. But once you just replay some of the zones, like we said with Crash 4, replay it, have a bit of fun, understand the mechanics and stuff, you can have fun with it. And I will say Forces is a fun little blast in short segments. The stuff to do with the avatars, some of the team up mechanics with Sonic and them. They are fun. They're fun stuff. And again, it frustrates me because it's like this shit needs to be built upon. This is the stuff you can take and then add more elements to it. Really build on these aspects. In fact, when I play those team up avatar moments with Sonic, to me, this is what I would love to see this done with Heroes. I would love to see this redone with Heroes, built upon with build the level as totally use the original game's layout, whatever, but use the controls and technology or maybe fix them a little bit to make that game remade today. That's what I would love to see from that.
Yeah. It's kind of weird pattern though. You get two games that are really good. They try changing it. They go back to the original. Then we had three games that did something new, try changing it up, went back to the original. And both going back to the original is kind of fucked up. So maybe the next Sonic game coming out is going to be completely new and it's going to work. And we're going to get a sequel. They're going to try something new, and then they're going to bring it back and fuck it up.
Yeah, but my argument's always been that there are some elements in games they never build upon. Like, I still maintain to this day, the one aspect they never came back to, which they think they perfected in Generations, was the skill list thing. Because they introduced it in Secret Rings and then in Black Knight. By the time we got to Generations, it was basically, here are some fun abilities. One that you can stop on a dime, speed up a bit more, slow down time, use supersonic. That was one of the elements as well. And again, I felt like this is what you need to do for future games. You can add this as a replayer mode. Like, again, this allows you to replay levels, do different aspects, especially if you're not using any of the characters, which is a whole other argument we may get into one day. Well, one day in the way if we ever get to that point.
Yeah.
But either way, I still think that's the one aspect they should have built upon. The skill list feature should have been brought back in the subsequent games, because for me, that is a key aspect that they could build upon. And I just felt like no one ever brings it up. I'll end this. The thing I always remember to this very day, the thing with colors, for as much as the glory and that's all the praise it always gets, the one aspect I can never forgive it for was taking away the sacrimonious thing of collect 100 rings, get an extra life. This game didn't do it. It was never announced in the press. It was never featured in the I don't think it was even in the manual or whatever. I discovered this because the amount of times I died, it made me worried. I was starting to be a bad gamer, and I realized this aspect, and it really just like, what the hell, guys? And I was taught to Dreadnought.
And they did it again in Lost World.
Except they patched it out. That was the one.
They packed it back in.
Yeah, they patched it back in. And I still remember talking to Dreadnought, aka the guy behind Summer of Sonic and co-founder of Sonic Stadium. Again, nice bloke, touch him. And I remember saying to this right to his face, why was this not a big deal when we were still bitching about the green eyes nonsense? And I remember him saying that, well, I think we had more important things to talk about then. I don't know.
People complain again. It's like people, like you said, Green Eyes wasn't a big deal, but people complained about it rather than the actual, hey, it's a new 2D Sonic game. What the hell are you bitching about?
Yeah, because now it's a pixelated one. That was the main reason. That was the main reason for it.
Yeah. But now we're doing away with lives. You can fail as many times as you fucking want. That's why I like modern style games now. Do away with a live system.
Yeah.
It's like, just make the game a bit harder. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's basically, if you're going to die, have the recovery time really quick. Like, literally, like, reload almost in an instant. You can get right back at it.
Those blinds are blinding me. The entire past hour, it's just basically the light has been going slowly across my face.
Yeah, I know. The time is starting to rise. It's getting lighter on this end, darker on my end. There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that'll be it. Thank you all so much for watching. leave thoughts and comments in below about Crash Bandicoot 4 and Sonic Forces. And any topics you want us to cover, let us know. As always, I've been Sonicguru. He's been Nicky Worm17. Follow us on Twitter, subscribe to the channel, like, favorite, subscribe, and also support this channel over on Patreon. And we'll see you all next time.
Hopefully.
Yeah.